begin to record their service as well. And I'm going to mute myself, Rabbi, so if you need anything, give me a thumbs up.
Okay. Two minutes. While we're waiting to start, if you want, you can wish each other Shabbat Shalom in the chat and say hi to each other. We're not strangers. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It's good to be with you, even if virtually. It's been another long week, and I hope that you're feeling good and that your loved ones are healthy as we arrive at this Friday night. We have people who are watching through Facebook. We have people on Zoom. And even if we can't be physically together, we know we are together in spirit. And we know that this time really calls on us to remember that we're not alone, that we're part of a community, that we're not navigating this saga on our own, even if it feels that way sometimes. These services remind us of the sacred community, the friends we have around us who are enduring these long and anxious days by our side. Shabbat comes, as it always does, just in time, giving us a break from the week, a break from the stress, a break from all of the news and the worry that might dot our days these days. And I'm glad you're with us. It's good to be with you. We would ordinarily have a family service, a very family-friendly service on this Friday night. And so that's what we're gonna do here and now, a lot of music. Hopefully the idea is that you find comfort and you find a nice, healthy distraction from the scariness of the world out there and are brought instead to a place of perspective, this place of tradition, and all that Shabbat brings to us each week. So you should see in front of you our prayer book. Though many of the tunes we'll be singing, you'll find very, very familiar. And we'll begin as we always begin with Hine Ma Tov, how good it is for us to be together.
I encourage you to sing along. We're going to do our normal, family-friendly, responsive Hine Ma Tov. So I encourage you to sing along. I'll be listening for you. Hine Ma Tov Uma Naim Shevet Akim Gam Yachad Hine Ma Tov Uma Naim Shabbat Achim Gam Yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim. 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 Shabbat Achim Gam Yachad.
Each week we bring in the light and the warmth of Shabbat as we bless our Shabbat lights. The idea is that we're meant to have our eyes open to all of the light in our world. And even as there's a lot of scariness, there's also a lot of good. There are some incredibly heroic people taking some incredibly heroic action these days. Our Shabbat blessings, we sing together over our Shabbat lights.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kirshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת.
Our Shabbat Kiddush has us recall the sweetness of Shabbat and all the sweetness that Shabbat brings into our lives. We sing together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri agafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'rachavanu. Shabbat kosho be'ava u'v'ratzon imkilanu, zikaron le'maseh v'reshit, ki hu yom tefilah le'mikra'e kodesh, zecher le'siyat Yitzrayim, ki banu ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקודש Shabbat.
Chaim. As is our custom, especially on the weeks where we do our family service, we pause in order to have parents bless their children, grandparents bless grandchildren, and we feel so fortunate to have loved ones in our lives right now. And I will therefore lead us in a blessing. First, that we say for our daughters and granddaughters. You're welcome to join me as we say Yisimech Elohim, Kisara, Kirivka, Kirachel, V'chalea. May God inspire you to live like Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. And then for our sons and grandsons, we say Yisimcha Elohim, K'Ephraim, V'Menashe. May God inspire you to live like Ephraim and Menashe. We continue now as we welcome the Sabbath bride in singing Lecha Dodi. We invite you to join with us in singing Lecha Dodi, verses 1, 8, and 9.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabla. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, ishmi'anu elam Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shemo tiferet v'ligila lecha dodi likrat kala Hine Shabbat nikabela lecha dodi likrat kala Hine Shabbat nikabla Yaminus motifrotzi ve'et Adonai tariti al yarish ben Parsi benismeka benagila lecha dodi likrat kala Hine Shabbat nikabela lecha dodi likrat kala Hine Shabbat nekabla Oi v'shalom ateret ba'ala Gam b'simcha u'sola Tov emunea sekula Oi kala lecha dodi likrat kala Hine Shabbat nikabela lecha dodi likrat kala Hine Shabbat nekabla
Join together in our call to worship, Baruch Hu, as together we sing.
Lai lai la la lai lai la 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 lai lai la 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 lai lai la 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 lai yai la 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 lai lai la 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 lai yai la lai Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamivorach Baruch Adonai Hamivorach Leolam Vaed Praise Adonai to whom all praises due Praise Adonai to whom all praises due Praise Adonai to whom all praises due now and forever. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed V'yavta et Adonai Elohecha B'chol levavcha u'chol nafshecha u'chol me'odecha והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברתם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לי תותפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Our Song of Freedom, Micha Mocha, takes on special meaning in these days leading up to Passover, when we're meant to think especially about freedom and the many freedoms we enjoy, and pledge anew, as we're meant to do not only during this time of year, but really throughout the year as Jews, to think deeply about those who are not fully free and how we can be there for them and to help them, both in a literal sense, those who feel and those who are imprisoned, and those who maybe symbolically in some way are imprisoned, shackled by anxiety or fear or trepidation. Micha Mocha is our song of freedom, and we join together.
Micha Mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha Mocha netar b'kodesh, Noat tehilot oseh peleh, Noat tehilot oseh peleh. Malekut yikara uvanecha, Rokei oyam libnei mashal, Zelianu ve'amru, Zelianu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed.
Hashkivenu is a prayer traditionally recited in the evening as we prepare to say goodbye to the day and lay down for the night. Hashkivenu urges God to watch over us and to bring us to tomorrow in health and in peace, that we might greet a new day. And I find especially that this prayer is resonating in new ways, especially given what we are living through together. This idea that we truly don't know what tomorrow will bring. And often I think we lie down at night with a heart that's beating quickly and a lot of uncertainty, wondering exactly what our world will look like as we arise anew the following day. Hashkivenu would have us believe that tomorrow can be a good day. It instills a sense of hope and potential in us. And so we pray together, Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, Hamidenu shomrenu l'chaim, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. You are true protection and safety. In your presence we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין olam. Ki sheshet yomim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Ve'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Continues now, as always, with our most central collection of prayers that we refer to as our tefillah. We join together.
Adonai sifatai tifrach ufia ki tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor VeHanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, Ve'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, U'mevii Gula Livnei Bneihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ezras Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh kol atarav le'Ashiach, Moshiv haruach u'morid ha'Hashem, Mechalchel chaim b'chesed, Mechayeh hakol b'rachamim rabim, Somech noflim v'rofeh cholim, U'matir asurim, U'mekayem emunato l'shenei apad, Michamo kabal kefurot, U'mito melach, Melech memit u'mechayeh, U'matzmiach Yeshua, B'ne'eman atal ha'chayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, v'kedoshim b'chol yom yalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ho'el hakadosh.
Before we continue at this important point in our service, we pause in order to offer a prayer for healing for the many in our lives, the many around the world who are struggling, hurting, or in pain as we now reach the start of this Shabbat and the sun sets. And we are keenly aware of the fact that there is widespread illness in our world. And beyond that, there is such a level of anxiety, and that every one of us is carrying the burden of this virus, whether directly or indirectly now. And we as a congregation pray now for those everywhere who are hurting. Mishaberach becomes our opportunity to pray deeply and earnestly for those in need of some help. As a congregation on this night, I know our prayers are with Howard Beckerman, Ileana Cohn, Rick Ulrich, Shirley Lewis, Lynn Romsberg, Amy Martyr, Millie Rosenfeld, Annette Shine, Roxanne Forth, Jerry Dreskin, Bruce Berkowitz, Ann Marsden, and Stephen Trombecki, as well as those names you carry in your heart at this moment, as we join together in singing our prayer of healing, Misha Berach.
Misha Berach avotenu, Mekor Abraham Imotenu. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach imotenu, Mekor Abraham avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We'll pause at this important point for the sake of our own personal prayers and reflections.
Ose shalom bimroma, uyase shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimroma, uyase shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimroma, uyase shalom aleinu. Yase shalom, yase shalom, shalom aleinu ve'alko Yisrael. Yase shalom, yase shalom, shalom aleinu ve'alko Yisrael. Ose shalom bimroma, hu yase shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimroma, hu yase shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimroma, hu yase shalom aleinu. Yase shalom, yase shalom, shalom aleinu ve'alko Yisrael. Yase shalom, yase shalom, shalom aleinu ve'alko Yisrael.
Shabbat Shalom again, everybody. Can you hear me? Yeah. How are we? How are we feeling? You can talk to me in the chat. You can talk to each other too. It's good to be with everyone, even virtually, as I noted. It's good to be able to spend some time, quote unquote, together. This is apparently the best we can do right now. And it's just good to see each other's faces and be able to check in on each other this way. And I think it's important that we hold on to Shabbat and hold on to tradition, especially now that we have something to ground us and to help us forward, to give us hope, to remind us of the good in our world, the good in ourselves. This Shabbat traditionally is referred to as Shabbat HaGadol, the Great Shabbat. It's the Shabbat that immediately precedes the start of Passover, which we're just a few days away from right now. And I think it's timely that we're enduring this virus, this saga, especially now as we do approach Passover. Because Passover, of course, has us grapple with themes of illness, plagues. It has us think about themes of liberation. And we might be tempted to say that there's a lot of parallels right now. I believe that the Passover story is at the heart of the Jewish experience, that this is the story that gives our people shape and direction and always has. Now, what do I mean when I say that? First of all, it's a story that teaches us about Moses and shows us the kind of teacher and the leader that Moses is. He's a figure of humility. He's a figure of great faith. He's not afraid to ask for help. He doesn't go it alone. He tends to have his brother by his side. And there are lessons there for us too, in our everyday lives and even how we navigate this saga, that it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to reach out to others, that you don't have to be some sort of superhero, that we're all human. And I think humility is appropriate right now. How else does Passover help to shape the Jewish experience? Well, it's a holiday that has us move from a place of darkness to a place of light. We talked about this a little bit in our Talmud class this morning. The Jewish experience always has us moving toward a place of light, a place of hope, right? We don't wallow in darkness. We don't wallow in a place of despair. We're meant to grow in faith, grow in hopefulness. And so our tradition would have us hold on to those ideas even right now when we be so tempted to go to a place of deep skepticism, anger, frustration, all of which would be totally justified, but rather to see the good in our world, to look out the window and see trees beginning to blossom, color beginning to form once more in the natural world. Passover is meant to instill a level of hope in our heart, that whatever we're going through, whatever we're dealing with, and we're dealing with so much, that we too in time will journey through a parted sea of sorts and feel a sense of new beginning. I think that's timely for us as well right now. The Haggadah is a book of true poetry. It's meant to move us. It's meant to guide us. And it reminds us that just as the Jewish story is important, so is each of our own stories important. Each one of us is the Haggadah in our own way. And we are living in our own way a sacred story. You matter. Your story matters. And I think it's important to keep in mind right now when we see these numbers that are so enormous, millions and billions, entire countries, you'd be tempted to think sort of, where am I? Where do I fit in all of this? Who am I? But you matter and you're sacred. Your prayers count, your voice counts, and you bring something unique and special to our world. So I think these are just some really, really important messages to keep in mind as we approach Passover this year. And the last message, which I'll be sharing in some content we'll be putting on social media and in emails over the next few days, is this year, more than ever before, the goal is to do your best. Obviously, we're working with some very limited resources. We can only do so much. We can't have a Seder as we have in years past. So let's vow to just do our best, to be kind to ourselves, to not have us feel guilty or frustrated, but to thank God that we can mark Passover at all. And next year, God willing, we'll feel liberated, dare I say, and able to celebrate as we have for so many generations. With all of that said, we're going to offer a birthday and anniversary blessing to those who may be celebrating during this month of April. It's our family service, so this is the time. As we always do, even if your birthday is March, or your anniversary falls in March, and maybe you weren't able to be with us, we'll include you as well. So this is for anyone who is celebrating a birthday, or an anniversary, or a big life moment, a milestone. This is us now standing virtually at our ark. And yes, in the chat, you can tell us if you are celebrating a birthday or anniversary, so we can give you a little shout out, maybe like April and Rachel Kennedy. And Ryan Goodman. And Eva, happy 39th birthday. And Carl Tarashi. And happy anniversary to the Godfreys. And I'm trying to keep up now. And to Brian and to Peter. And a happy first anniversary to the Boyers. And to Doug and to Barbara. And to the Treskys on their upcoming anniversary. And the Wrights. And to Caleb, my pal. Who am I missing? How about Elijah David? How about Lisa David? These are some April birthdays. So as we do, we'll offer a very special birthday and anniversary to the Eisners as well. A source of life and source of blessing. We thank you deeply now for the blessings that have enriched our lives. And we pray together that we may enjoy many, many more years of blessing and goodness, united by mutual reverence and by faith. Then indeed will our lives be filled with an abundance of blessing. You can join me from home as we recite She'echianu Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam She'echianu V'kiyamanu V'higianu Lazman Hazeh, which means blessed are you, Adonai our God, for keeping us alive, for sustaining us, and for enabling us to reach this very, very special moment in time. And together we can all say, Amen.
Cinnamon tofu, mazel tofu, cinnamon tofu, cinnamon tofu, mazel tofu, cinnamon tofu, cinnamon tofu, mazel tofu, cinnamon tofu. Yeilanu, 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 ulapo Yisrael. Yeilanu, yeilanu, ulapo Yisrael. Cinnamon tofu, mazel tofu, cinnamon tofu, cinnamon tofu, mazel tofu, cinnamon tofu, cinnamon tofu, mazel tofu, cinnamon tofu.
Happy birthday, everybody. Happy anniversary. Our service is going to continue with Aleinu as we move toward the conclusion of our service now.
Aleinu לשבח לדור הכל, לתת גדולה ליוסף ראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עמונם. אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה
death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. Zichronam livracha, may their memory always be for a blessing, and may they rest always in peace. We recall first those taken from our congregational family in most recent days: Bruce Kay, Mitzi Longer, Ronald Kramer, Wally Kramer, Susan Fesnack, and David Prizer. As well, we recall at this time those whose yahrzeit we mark this Shabbat: Louis Abrams, Stan Chanofsky, Lauren Harold Jaffe, Samuel Korth, Fanny Lesser, Benjamin Latovsky, Elliot Marchant, Belle Markowitz, Adele Mendelson, Ida Plavinsky, Earl Schaefer, Adele Schlossberg, Dan Selman, Sibby Slaughterhoff, Robert Slovan, Joan Summers, and Lillian Ward. In addition to those names, we recall now the names that you carry in your heart at this moment, and the many taken from us by virtue of the coronavirus, as we join together in the hallowed words of Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei techol beit Yisrael, v'agalav v'zman kariv v'yimru, Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mivorach le'olam ul'olmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha barichu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran bi'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlomo rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Before our closing song, which will be Adon Olam, just a couple of quick announcements. We will be joining tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock on Facebook for a Shabbat morning service, and tomorrow night at 7 o'clock for Havdalah. As I noted, be on the lookout for further communication about Passover, including resources and some fun things we have brewing. Big thank you to our tech team, to the Cantor, to Lisa, to Jamie, to everyone who's helped to put this service together on all of our ends. And thank you to all of you for being here and reminding us that Adith is here, and thank God we can join in the good, bask in tradition, even when, or especially when, times might be tough. Okay, as for that, Adon Olam, here we go.
And I'm listening again for you to do the repeat with me, so I'll be listening. Okay, we ready?
We're ready.
Olam asher malach b'terem bo yitzir nivra Adon Olam li'et nasa v'kasot kol azay melech shemo nikra Adon Olam asher malach b'terem bo yitzir nivra li'et nasa v'kasot kol azay melech shemo Azai melech shemo nikra Adon Olam.
Shabbat shalom.
Good job.
Shalom.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hello, everybody.
DK Heisman's.
We love you.
Good night.
Be well.
Be safe.
And good yontif.
Thanks for
Thank you,
everything.
David.
Bye.
Thank you, Rabbi. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you,
Leave the meeting. Don't click X. Leave the meeting.
Oh, wow.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Hey, Brian, you on the beach? Get away.
Brian's back.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, April, how do I close this out?
Unplug your computer.
I just closed it and it didn't close.